Here we are again, folks. Welcome back to our channel and our radio podcast because we are putting a copy of this up on our podcast now. Our podcast is called Life on Planet Earth, and you can find that on podcast and Anchor if it's still around. And so we begin again from journal entry number 13. And as I said before, these are non-fiction journal entries. You can take them as you will and see what you can get out of them. This is 13. I've had some strange dreams since the one last night. I decided to go forward and reach for total awareness during that night when a goddess figure stood before me and asked me if I would. Last night I had several nightmares where people who had died came to visit me. I was in my house with a close friend whose name is John. We were talking with a group. As I was sitting there, I was eating small pieces of meat. People said it was human flesh, but I didn't believe them. As I was finishing, I shuddered just at the possibility that it could be human meat. A woman came in when I was about to go into the kitchen asking for John and John. She was looking for counseling. I told her I couldn't talk at the moment, but the other John would take care of her. In the kitchen, my dead brother came in. It was good to see him. I knew he was dead and wondered what he was doing there. We were talking. I turned toward the stove and noticed a large meal of beautiful roasted chickens were there sitting on the stove. It looked as if my mother had prepared it. He soon disappeared. The next dream was a repeat of the first, with a different symbology. I was in a church in a very small room near a pulpit. There was evil there, hidden. I went to battle with this demonic energy, calling on Jesus on various gods and using any power I could muster. We were battling hard, and I just kept attacking this thing until it left. It shifted to us sitting in the church as a service was going on. I sang to myself, chanting to Kali. It was a very low chant. Somehow the whole group, about 400 or 500 people, caught on to the chant, and we all sang it over and over again until the sound finally died out. Someone asked me why I chanted to Kali, a middle-aged white woman. I said because she was one who embodied all the power of all the gods and was the one to bring them to accountability. She said something dismissive and kept going. To clarify, the middle-aged white woman was the one who asked me why I chanted to Kali. Later I had a dream where I was being spiritually attacked by a group of people. I called upon the goddess Kali during this attack, and there was a bloodbath as this coven of people were beaten and decapitated. Later Diana appeared to me. She said that it was good that I called on Kali because that was the power of Kali and why she was here. She said Kali was part of my family too, and that I was definitely in the family. What were these dreams about? Going beyond accepted dogma to the source. Partaking of an understanding that is as taboo to the power structure as eating another human being. For the meat stood for a deeper understanding of the truth that is more difficult to digest. That truth is that there is something demonic buried in our religious institutions and every other system that we refuse to get rid of, and it is also embedded in ourselves. We try to make peace with it, placate it, or keep its effects to a minimum, but it's always there, warping reality. It is time for the demonic to be utterly destroyed and cast out by the power that we have inherited from every faith tradition and every god and goddess. And that idea that every god and goddess and religion and philosophy without exception, and without it being okayed by the gatekeepers, is available to us and our inheritance. We must draw on all of them to defeat the evil pervading this society. When we do, we'll be attacked by every type of fundamentalist, but Kali gives us the power to destroy them all. The very idea that we are sacred and the power belongs to us, each and every individual, has been given to us as a taboo, and for thousands of years, perhaps millions, anyone who has dared to cross that line has been murdered, killed, ruined, driven into the woods, beaten, stoned, and burned at the stake. In my dream, the meat my mother had prepared for me, which moved me to a greater understanding of the world, represented the fact that we are the ones with the power. We are the ones who can lead a life of love and compassion in a world, and that living is what being one with God is really all about. Next we go to journal entry number 14. I have so much going on in the middle of the night that it is hard for me to even remember. I am constantly having conversations with guides in the forms of gods and goddesses from many pantheons, with most being from the West or Mediterranean area. They are constantly stressing the power we have as human beings to change the world through our perceptions and the fact that they are self-existent and part of my psyche, since human beings and every being consists of all the elements of the universe. They say that we are not simply changing our subjective reality as we shift our perceptions. We, in a sense, are changing our reality because we only experience objective reality as measured through our subjective self. As part of the greater, the creative energy of the universe, we have the power as that thing to create and recreate our realities. I hunger to be free from this earth. I want to walk among the stars and fly upon the heavens. They say that this is possible by expanding oneself and one's view of reality. As one does this, life on earth becomes much larger, because life on earth is not different than life anywhere else. In other words, every point in this universe is the same. The only thing that distinguishes one place from the other is our perception. As we expand our perception, we expand our reality. But if we cling to our perceptions of time and space that is limited by our socialization, we trap ourselves in our narrow form of reality. I am in the process of expanding my perception. At night, I am spending time with many beings and just starting to realize that this extended part of my life is not separate from my life on earth. It is my life on earth. When duality ends, truth and reality begins. And when we begin to return to our true selves, these are the ourselves that we carry with us every day in the deep recesses of our collective subconscious that we can tap into at any time in order to be fully alive. In most circles, people talk about enlightenment in the sense of transcendence. But when the opposite happens, when we bring our fullness into the material world, we experience a sense of enlightenment that is more feminine or immanent. By experiencing these two together, and only by experiencing both, we become whole. This is a new form of enlightenment for this age. We will do chapter or journal entry 15, and this will be the last reading for today. 15. It is getting more difficult to write entries. Things are becoming more clouded and more complicated. I have had dreams about people trying to intrude into my dream space. I prayed last night that these people would be intercepted and not allowed in unless they were in harmony with the will of the goddess. Some were permitted in, but I was told that they were there by my guides as they were held in place so I could come out and meet them. These were young people who were telepathic and psychically inclined, curious about me and trying to reach out and find out what I was about. They meant no harm but were definitely intruding on my privacy. I talked with them and let them know that what they were doing was not acceptable. I had strange dreams that I don't understand. I don't really want to explore them here because they were just so chaotic that I have to think about them for a few moments. I feel that the work that I'm doing in expansion of the conscious is making me more telepathic and empathic, thus opening myself to experiences and to experience more contact with outside sources who are also. This leads me to understand that I will probably be more aware and create rituals that will protect me from psychic trespassers who may have something more sinister in mind than curiosity. One might think that these entities in dreams are only personifications of different parts of my own psyche presenting themselves as something external. I think that is possible. Even so, if they are, I think they reflect the external people and subtle powers and energies that I and people who love have had to deal with a long time. It is well known that many haters, leaders, and white supremacists have become aware of the occult and several ways of attempting psychic attacks against others, even as they renounce them publicly. Many intelligence agencies have been using psychic techniques like remote viewing and astral projection for decades, maybe even centuries, and have been experimenting on ways to influence people with technology from a distance. These types of people will use whatever has been discovered or passed down through generations in secret to attack anyone who is good and who is working for the fellowship and empowerment of the human race. I feel that I have decided to push forward and beat back the evil forces that I have been wrestling with. I have become a danger, more of a danger to their agenda, which is total domination and the destruction of anything reminding them of God. There is a battle going on in this world. It is not only for money, it is for power. The power to create a world in their image, the dog eat dog image, instead of a world of love and mutual caring, is what is being fought for by the haters. I, just through the exploration that I am taking now and through speaking out for the truth and empowerment, have somehow entered right into the center of the battle against powers, principalities, and spiritual wickedness in high places. That, unfortunately, is what I think I came into the world to do. I am a healer on all levels, including societal levels. My journey to explore something totally different has reiterated that. And that is the end of that reading. Next week, another. Please hit the bell, subscribe, help to support us to keep us on this channel and to be able to do more explorations and more work in this place we call reality. You can find out more about us at our website. You will see a link below, and there's a donation page if you'd like to make a donation. On the same page, you can get a copy of our new ebook, and you can also learn about the radio programs that we are doing. So please hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with all of your friends. Leave a comment if you like, and discuss these things that are being put forth with friends and family members. See how they respond and see where it leads you. Namaste, everybody.